What is going on, and welcome back to the Dlzonwlz podcast, brought to you by Dlzonwlz. I am your host, Carter Farthing, and if you didn't watch the first couple episodes, you probably won't notice that we actually have a new studio set up here, where we're going to be conducting most of the interviews and most of the podcasts from now on. This is going to be a pretty special episode. We do have another guest. It's a local drifter from the Pacific Northwest. We have Bryan Sturman.
Yes, sir.
That's how you pronounce it? Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You probably saw the clips already of the beauty shots of the E30 that he's driving. It's a phenomenal car. It's beautiful. I've seen him drive a couple events in the Pacific Northwest, and I just thought it was right to bring him in and chat a little bit, talk about the build, talk about himself, and what the future of motorsports holds for him, and where he's going to take his career in drifting from the Pacific Northwest, because he's actually leaving us, which is why we're doing this before he leaves. So I have a couple questions. The first one I'm going to ask, just so everyone can get to know you, is how old are you and where are you from?
Yeah, I'm 28 years old. I'm from Gig Harbor. I'm from here in Washington. I've moved around a bunch. Moved back towards the East Coast for a few years, which is where I met my girlfriend a long time ago. And born and raised here. Currently not a big fan of Washington itself, which is why I am taking my family elsewhere, but it's a nice area, good people, good times, and it's got me where I am today.
All right, so he's a local boy, born and raised around here, but you're heading to Florida, I hear.
Going to Florida, yep.
Yeah, he's picking up, taking his drift car, taking his family, and moving to the other side of the country.
That's right.
Have you ever been to Florida? Have you spent a lot of time over there?
Just to visit, man. It was a tie between Texas or Florida, wherever I could A, get a good job, and B, be close to some family.
Yeah.
Which I don't really have family in Texas. My girl's family is all over there towards Florida and Georgia.
Sweet.
And I end up finding a good job over that way. They're going to help us get over there, so
that's good.
Florida's the move. Plus, obviously, drifting is big in Florida.
Yeah,
so.
The two places that you had in mind were obviously the two biggest drifting states as well, which probably helps with your decision.
It does, yeah. I'm not going to totally leave it behind. I mean, obviously, making money, supporting my family is the most important thing, but drifting still, it's right there underneath it.
I gotcha. What do you do for work? You mentioned you're getting a new job over in Florida. What's bringing you over there?
I'm a journeyman plumber. I do new construction plumbing, like a lot of residential, some multifamily, things like that. And that's what I've done here for the last 6 years or so.
Sweet.
And I love it. I enjoy it.
Good.
It's nice.
Pays the bills, gets everything.
Yeah, man, it does. Pays the bills, allows me to have some fun with the cars and whatnot.
Good.
And I'm going to be doing the same thing over there as well, so it'll be nice.
Okay. So you're pretty much taking your entire life and just putting it on the other side of the coast.
That's
where
right.
It's a little bit easier to do the things that you love.
Exactly.
And have a government that allows you to do the things that you love.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
This podcast, we probably won't lean into the political side of things, but there are political things there.
Right, yes, definitely some perks.
So, obviously, there's a E30 in front of us. We saw the beauty shots. I don't really know too much about BMWs. I've had a few of them. Tell us what this car is, what year is it, and basically just describe the car. What is it?
Yeah, it's a 91 318 IS. It's a slick top.
Okay.
Purchased it in Atlanta about 10 years ago.
Jesus.
Roughly. And it's a good car, man. I rebuilt it. I was a big purist for a while. Mm-hmm. And I rebuilt it stock. And rode that out for a little bit. And then I was into the stance thing for a while. And I had the M52, which is in it right now.
And that's not the stock motor that comes in the E30,
No,
right?
it is not. No, this car specifically came with a 4-cylinder. Which
was
bulletproof. I beat the crap out of this thing. It would not go.
How long did you drive it with the stock motor in it?
Oh, man. 6 years?
Oh, really?
5 years?
Wow.
Yeah, it was a daily driver during that time. Drove it cross-country, moved in it.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah,
you packed up in the E30 and drove it across country?
I packed it full of everything I could.
Well, I guess that kind of answers one of the questions on here, which is actually the next question. What's the furthest you've ever street driven it? Probably cross country.
Yeah, I bounced between both Carolinas and Georgia over about a 4-year period.
Holy crap.
And then when I moved here, was from Charlotte, North Carolina. Me and my girlfriend just beelined it straight for Washington, car full of shit. And
what was the build point at that point? Was it slammed? Was it stock
No,
height?
it was lowered. Yeah, I was on some 3-piece dished wheels that got stolen the night before I moved.
Oh, no way.
I shit you not. If you just Google my name, you'll see my car. Body-wise, it was stock. It was red at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just chilling on blocks. The day we were moving, I walked out to it.
Oh, no.
So that wasn't ideal.
Yeah,
but I
not.
still had the stock wheels that I do drift with occasionally as well.
Yeah.
So I was able to get some wheels on there and drive back, but not a good way to start the first day of a cross-country drive.
No, that sounds terrible. And then, yeah fuck that.
It sucked, man. I was not happy. I knew who did it too, so.
Oh, you knew the guy. Did he?
I mean, I had an idea. I didn't have any proof, so I left the bricks at his front door. I wasn't gonna make it worse. I wasn't gonna fuck with any of his stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want
that's
that coming
definitely
on
taking
me,
the
so
high road.
I left the bricks on his front doorstep before we left, so he at least knew, but that still doesn't do me any good.
No.
So.
Well, if you're out there, Brick Man, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. That's right.
I see you've got a couple different wheels on there right now. The RPF ones up front and the...
Some knockoffs.
Oh, they are knockoffs?
They're knockoffs, yeah.
I mean, drift car, you can get away with reps, especially...
Yeah.
With, the use that you get out of this car, it doesn't really matter. So it's got the RPF-1 clones in the front and then the XXR 527s in the back?
That's exactly right, yep.
Okay. And are they painted, powder coated?
They're just painted. They're just the appliance epoxy, which shines and cleans well.
Perfect.
It works good. I'm not big. I'm not a big wheel guy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I went through the stance thing for a minute. That was very short-lived once I got into drifting. And I've damaged so many wheels, it's not worth it to me to spend the money to get nice ones.
And obviously
it's
going on the tire machine after every event, and you're getting rubber all over them. So take a little bit WD-40 off of them and scuff them up a little bit. They look brand new. You're not really worrying about your powder coat or your paint or your chrome VSKFs or whatever. So when was your actual first drift event in this thing? You said you had it for a couple of years, or how long did you have it before you eventually turned it into a drift car?
I had it for 6 years.
Okay.
I just daily drove it during that time.
So you were here at this point?
I was here at that point when I started drifting, yeah. I've always been into drifting. I got this car with the intention of drifting it one day.
Okay.
Financially wasn't an option.
Which is, the story for most people. They buy it and then they sit on it for about 5 years before they ever actually put it through a track day. But, you didn't park it. You daily drove it.
Yeah, I daily drove it, yeah. And then as soon as I saw the slightest bit of milky residue in the oil, I already had the M52. It's not rebuilt. I didn't crack open the motor, but it's all just refreshed with gaskets and things like that.
And the M52 is the 6-cylinder out of the E36, right?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly, out of the E36. And I had that just waiting on an engine stand to go in. And the second I saw a little milk, I did like a 6 or 8 month stint of just beating the shit out of that car because I wanted it to go and it just wouldn't.
And you beat it with the blown head gasket, hoping that it would.
Well, I didn't.
It wasn't even a blown head gasket, just a little bit milky.
I don't know. I only did it. It was at a point where I was only doing like really short drives. It could have just been condensation.
Yeah, gotcha.
I didn't even risk it. As soon as I saw it, I said, "Fucking gone." Pulled it out, put the M52 in.
Okay.
And that was 4 or so years ago. Shortly after that, did my first event.
Where was that at?
That was up at Evergreen.
Oh, it was.
Evergreen is where I've mainly done, pretty much all of my drifting. A couple times at Spirit Peaks. I blow through so many tires there, so Evergreen has been my main track.
Keeping up on the bank.
Yeah,
Nice.
but that the car was just swapped, still pretty stock, and as soon as I did that, it was game over. I was just life changed.
It's drift car from now on.
Anyone who goes to the track knows what I'm talking about. As soon as you go out there, it's game over.
And especially with a car you've had so long, and now you know what it's capable of doing.
Right.
You kind of just want to do that at all times for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's an
adrenaline rush that if you haven't been drifting before or haven't been behind the wheel of a car that's gone sideways, it's an adrenaline rush of a stimulant, like a drug.
Yeah.
You seriously, it's addicting. You want it for the rest of your life.
It's bad. I could never picture walking away from it.
No.
It's not even an option.
Yeah, it's better than sex. It's better than drugs. It's better than sex on drugs.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I won't comment on that. But yeah, it's definitely a good time, man. It's there's nothing like it.
So you drove it all that way. Did you find any quirks that you didn't like about the car? Did you do you have a least favorite part about the build? Do you have something that bothers you about it, or
Not really, man. I'm the only person to really lay hands on this car besides, some help from friends welding some things. But no, there's nothing on there I didn't like. If there was, it wouldn't be there.
Yeah, and you've obviously touched every single nut and bolt on this car.
Everything on this car, yeah. I've stripped this car down to pretty much nothing, man. When I first did it, repainted the bay, even every nut, everything I touched, got a refresh on it.
Awesome.
Not really with the full intent of drifting it at that time.
Just kind of purist rebuild, get
Kind
to the
of,
point
yeah.
where it looks better.
There was while I swapped it, I knew I was gonna drift it, but I didn't know how deep into drifting I was.
You didn't know it was
going
to turn into a caged missile car.
Yeah, so now at this point, I definitely don't put that kind of detail into it, but I still make it look good from a couple feet.
We should mention the cage. Obviously, this thing's got a full 6 point?
6 point cage, yeah. It doesn't have the A-pillars or like a halo bar or anything.
Gotcha.
I do have the tube at home.
Yeah.
But...
And you did that yourself, you said? Or you had help with the cage? You did
No,
it with a buddy?
I did the cage myself, yeah. One of my buddies, Gabe, I'm sure a lot of people know, shout out to Gabe. He helped me with a lot of the welding. He helped me with the bash bar, built it nice and tight inside the front bumper. I mean, I don't even need clips.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I really haven't even noticed the front bumpers, or the front bash bar since it's in there so well.
No,
but
he built it so good inside that front bumper, man. I could literally throw it and it would just suck it right on there. So it's pretty cool, man.
And then it's got the rear, like the tubed rear end as well. It doesn't have
Yes, this car has been totaled about 3 times now. So after the last one, I just hacked off the frame rails and we came up with a decent design that would just look cool and function. So
it looks good though.
Thanks, man.
I guess let's go front to back with kind of the modifications of this thing.
Yeah.
Starting with like the front fascia. What front bumper is that? Obviously,
that
it's
is
aftermarket.
The Duraflex Special.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, getting body panels for this car, especially aftermarket, are very pricey.
Yeah, I bet.
And doing what we do, I have a hard time coughing up some serious money for some nice shit.
For sure.
When there's a 99% chance I'm just going to fucking...
No, it's a 100% chance.
Yeah, pretty much. At some point, it's definitely going to happen, man.
Yeah.
But even still, it was fairly pricey for what it is.
Yeah, so it's just fiberglass aftermarket front bumper.
Uh-huh.
And then we have the 2 intakes sticking out, but one's a faux intake, right? It's
you're going to expose me to the world now.
Well, they saw the engine bay clips.
Right,
you can
I
see.
know. Yeah, it throws everyone for a loop. It draws a lot of attention, especially at, like, DriftCon or bigger events. I'll have hundreds of people come up. What's in it? What's in it? What's in it?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, and I always get exposed. But man. The passenger one is just for looks.
But obviously, it looks so much better. Symmetrical.
No, it does. A little Mad Max style. It adds some character. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And those are where my high beams go.
Oh yeah.
They're separate bulbs from the low beams.
Gotcha.
And I mean, it was years back. We were drinking. I actually shot out that passenger one with a 22 from my friend's porch. And so it's just been broken ever since. So I was like, you know what? I'll make it match. We'll add some character to the car. And yeah, it's become just notorious for the filters now.
All right, so your car's taken a bullet.
It has, yeah.
We learned that.
A small bullet.
Just one bullet. I mean, barely a bullet.
Uh-huh.
But, and then you showed me earlier, E30s, the hood's usually open forward, like the old Saabs, a couple like the older vehicles where they just pop forward. But obviously this one just comes straight off, right?
It does, yeah. I just recently cut out the core support. I was trying to find a way to still make that work because anyone who modifies the core supports on these, you're pretty much screwed. You have to just take your hood off anytime you want to service anything, which is very annoying. But yeah, I needed the cooling more importantly than I needed my hood to hold itself up.
Makes sense. And then stock front fenders, are those still metal or are those fiberglass?
No, it's all fiberglass. The front fenders are a full fender itself. The rears are overs.
Gotcha.
Those are Big Duck Club's kit. It's a 50 mil wider. It's M3 style.
50? I didn't realize it was
50 mil
that
wider
big.
than the M3, so...
Oh, wow.
It's nice, yeah. There's a lot of room in there. But the
what size tire are you running on the back?
The back is a 16 by 8.5.
Nice. So you definitely have some meat under there for an E30.
Yeah,
I mean, E30s, you're usually stuck with pretty skinny stuff if you're stock body in the rear.
And I'm still 4-lug as well. I'm still 4x100. I haven't cared to go 5-lug. A lot of people do just for the wheel selection.
Yeah.
But I've been able to find wheels that work and get the fitment I need.
And that's 16's front and rear? Or
16's front and rear, yeah. 16 by 7's in the front just for clearance.
Yeah. And you, Clarence, you got the huge angle kit up front. What angle kit do you have?
SLR's full kit. It's just they have an Ultra and a Super kit. This is just their Super kit.
Okay.
Big confusion between a lot of them. People think that if you get their Ultra, which is their wider kit, that it gives you more angle. Both kits actually give you the same amount of angle.
Just a wider
the
track
Ultra
stance.
is mainly meant for the E46, which naturally has a wider track width to it. So a lot of people will get them in your 4-by-in everywhere you go, but you really have the same angle.
Looks like Ryan Turek's Ferrari,
right,
or whatever that thing is.
Pro tip for anyone out there: just same angle.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Just extra width if you want to be baller.
So it's still 4-lug. You got the stock E30 brakes under there.
Yep, still the stock brakes. Stopping hasn't really been my main focus on track, so.
And you've never run into any heat soak issues with the brakes or anything?
No,
it's always been responsive?
No, it's always been fine, at least for what I do.
Good.
I mean, it's not like my car makes a ton of power.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon that'll be changed, but...
I mean, it makes, what, double what it made stock? Almost triple what it made stock?
I wouldn't say even, man. No, that stock 4-cylinder, I couldn't even tell you what it puts out, but this M52 is stock. It's got a nice tune on it, lightweight flywheel. I mean, it's a snappy little car, and it gets down for what it is. Obviously, my car weighs nothing.
Yeah.
With just my little ass in it, I mean, it gets down.
You said it's geared down a little bit, too, for a little bit
zippier.
Yeah,
well, I have pretty high gearing in it, which is the trick with all BMWs, man. Third gear is the ticket.
And
that's the key.
You mentioned your third gear on every single track.
Every track, everywhere.
And you're just foot to the floor, third gear.
My first gear, second gear is like a semi. They're useless, man. Seriously, it really does nothing. But third gear's the trick, man.
Sweet spot.
Yeah, even this little car with just me, I'm able to hang with a lot. You know, anything under 500, I can hang with all these guys. I couldn't tell you how, but it works, man. It does.
Lightweight car, simple, not a whole lot going on, and it's reliable. I mean, you told me that every single track day you've gone to, you've never really had to put a wrench to the car.
4 years straight, dozens and dozens and dozens of events. The only thing I've had to do is realign my front wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I just drive the car. It's good, which is what's prevented me from... I really want to turbo it. This motor's been so reliable. It would handle turbo well.
Yeah.
But damn, I don't want to give up the reliability. I just drive.
At that point, you're going to have to start turning wrenches at the track.
Yeah, there's a reliable way to do everything, but it's going to add more maintenance. It's going to add more problems.
And more money.
And more money.
And at this point, not that a car's ever done, but the car's at a point where you can turn the key and it goes down the street every single time.
Yeah.
Like you drove it here. Not a lot of... This looks like almost... it's basically a pro spec car for
to a point.
For evergreen standards.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You can say that.
But I mean, he street drove it here. Does it have windows in the doors still, or no?
Yeah,
window?
it does.
It does have
automatic windows. I got them both.
Automatic windows.
Yeah. I got them both wired just to one switch, so it's just one. They control them both.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no,
Mustang
all the glass
has
is still there.
No windows in the doors. Mustang has no glass in
It's plastic windows, right? Or you got
plastic
like,
front and rear glass, and then no windows on the sides at all.
At all?
Yeah, no windows.
That's what everyone does.
Can't drive it in the rain.
Wherever you can save weight.
Yeah, and saved a lot of weight in that thing. But the stock glass in the rear as well.
All around, all stock glass.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
I've been wanting to ditch the motors that are in the door and go with plexiglass or whatever, but I just haven't been able to stomach it yet.
Yeah. And then, obviously, it's caged. It's got the seats in there. What seats are you running?
Yeah, just some energy seats. I got on eBay. I got the 2 as a nice pair. They're small seats. Obviously, I'm not the biggest of people.
Yeah.
But I got a matching passenger seat as well because weight is the biggest factor in my car. So small seat, big people really can't get in, so we can still rip no matter who's in there.
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard. You're never... Sorry, man. I got size 32 seats.
Yeah.
You're not a 32.
Anyone's welcome. I've invited a lot of big people in there. Stretch the seat out as much as you can, but it doesn't work very well.
Take some of the padding out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then moving to the rear, obviously you've got a rear seat delete. Or was there ever a rear seat? Oh, obviously it's got the cage in there, but you got the panel back there. Is that custom panel or is that LRB?
No, it's not. That's just you're talking about the up on the top there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all. That's all stock. I cut big holes just for the cage to penetrate through the rear firewall. But
because it goes all the way back to the.
It does, just to mount on top of the frame rails and the what was a trunk back there.
Yeah, the thing's sturdy. It obviously has lots of things tying into it, keeping it a rigid car. You've never run into... Have you crashed it while it's caged?
No, not while it's caged. I totaled it a couple times before it was caged, which sucked.
Yeah, I bet.
And I've been on a frame rack twice now. And after the last time, the cage went in immediately.
And every crash you've had, has it been on the track, or have you had any crashes
Been
on the street?
track. This car has been on track only. I have not crashed on the street.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. What's your favorite modification or favorite thing about the car, or favorite thing you've done to it so far?
Oh man.
What's the one piece, if taken away from you tonight, you would be really fucking pissed about?
I mean, all of it is a whole. There's nothing specifically I can be like, oh, I really love this. I really love this. Everything I've done to it, I mean, I love it. That's why I did it. There isn't one
very
thing
balanced car.
specifically.
Everything kind of accents the other parts. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all there for a reason.
This past year, I have made it physically appealing.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Oh, actually.
Oh yeah, that's
As you could kind of see in some of this, you'll see before when it was red, it was a little beat. Looks weren't, on the top priority, but as I got more seat time and become a
that's
bit of a better
what
driver.
90% of the drift cars in the Pacific Northwest look
Right,
like.
yeah.
The eBay over fenders.
Yeah.
And, yeah, just like that.
Exactly.
But now, obviously, it's a different color. It's wrapped. You said you did it yourself?
Wrapped it myself, yeah, right when good old COVID kicked off. We had some time at home.
Yeah, as a
Just
fun
wrapped it myself.
COVID project.
Yeah. It went real good. It turned out pretty well. I'm happy with it.
What color is it?
It's a gloss berry blue by Cheetah Wrap.
Oh, it is a cheetah wrap?
That's the color that they call it.
Nice.
It's like a electric blue. I'm sure there's so many different shades.
It looks good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, definitely a big fan of it. It's grown on me.
Yeah, cannot
Quick.
go wrong with blue on white or white on blue.
Right. I'm a big fan of white wheels. I did the red on white for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, blue on white's going to be the ticket for sure.
No, it's crispy. It looks good.
Thank you.
You have any plans on painting the cage or painting the...
Yeah,
Obviously, you want to finish the interior here in a bit. But
I've been meaning to do that, yeah. I'm going to flock the dash, finish the cage and paint it, but right now I just don't want to add the weight to it if I don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm able to pass tech for what I do.
For sure.
So why add the weight if there's really no reason?
Makes sense.
So, no, I'm a...
White accents on the interior, though? Or
Yeah, white interior. I'll end up painting the cage and all that white, too.
Yeah, that'll
Or
be beautiful.
I might go gray once I move because it's always going to be sunny down there and the white is bright.
Yeah, and it's going to
very
yellow it really
reflective.
fast. Oh, and yeah, that'll suck.
Yeah.
If it's super bright, you'll go blind.
So we might go to gray on the inside. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait till I move and
Nice
make
neutral
a
color.
decision.
All right, and then you got the... they probably saw the LED clip in the front. You got the nice bright yellow LEDs up front.
Yeah,
Those are
just
new.
put them in. I was able to retrofit them in the stock headlights. I had to hack it up pretty well, but I was able to make it mount in there. It turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it.
For the E30 guys out there, what headlights are those? So just Amazon special?
They're just some Amazon yellow LEDs. I think they're marketed as fog lights.
Oh, really?
But I just took measurements of the stock headlights and just searched for some around that size and got these. It just worked out perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What front radiator is in it? Obviously not stock E30 front
No,
radiator.
it's a Z3M aluminum radiator, which is common in most BMW guys know. It's a three-core radiator.
Holy shit, 3-core. Wow.
Yeah, I've had a lot of heating problems with this car. Nothing that's really stopped me, but it gets up 220, 230, and at that point I'm like, okay, let me let her breathe for a minute. But ever since I put that in, it's been good.
It's got an electric fan on it, or are you still stock fan?
Electric fan, no.
Electric fan.
Now that I cut the core support out, with these cars and these motors, it's so tight. You have, less than 2 inches.
Yeah.
So it's always been a polar fan this whole time, which is why I had cut that out and got the bigger radiator to try and help with all that. So it's a polar now. Temps are down like 20, 30 degrees,
Good.
idling or just beating the shit out of it. So I'm very happy with it now.
That's good. It doesn't overheat in traffic or anything?
No, not at all.
Good.
No, even on track. I've done 3 events now with the new cooling setup, and I can't even
Is
get
it
to
just
hit
on a
the
switch, or is it thermostatic?
It's on a switch.
Nice.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I did the thermostatic one, but it wasn't.
It's just another thing to
consistent.
fail. It doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
And I have a hard time hearing the fan too.
Yeah.
I like to at least know it's on.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's on, you have the ease of mind.
Right.
And then you got the single wiper, the Euro special, the
mono wiper.
mono wiper.
It's the broke man's way of doing it, but it works. It only swipes my side.
Yeah, you just throw the driver arm on the passenger side.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh no, I actually kept that arm that's on splines, so I just picked it up, relocated it to
There
a
you
new
go.
spot.
That's perfect.
And just deleted the driver's side one. So passengers don't get a good view when it rains, but
Doesn't matter.
they don't need to see nothing.
Nope, they just need to hold on.
That's right.
Okay, and then the rear end. What gear ratio do you know? What gears are in there?
Yeah, it's a ZF Trans, which is already geared a little bit higher than some of the other BMW.
5-speed or 6-speed?
5-speed.
5-speed. Okay.
Yep. And 373 welded diff, and I mean, shit, like I said, that's the ticket, man.
Yeah.
Is the ticket on these cars. Everyone I talk to, I tell them.
That's what you would recommend
Get
to
out of
any
second
E30
gear.
driver?
Anybody, anyone, even the E36.
Okay.
E36 only offers a 391 is the closest.
Yeah.
I tell everyone to do it. Drift in third gear, get out of second, get your wheel speed up, and you'll have such a better time.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
swear by it.
All right, let's see what we got here. You said you weren't too much into the whole wheel setup thing or into wheels in general, but if you had unlimited money or a $10,000 gift card to Wheels R Us to spend on the E30, what's the one set of wheels that you would want to put on this thing?
Couldn't even tell you.
Couldn't?
I'm just not a wheel person.
No interest?
I'm not, nope.
Would it be the one set that you lost in Atlanta? Or not in Atlanta?
No. I think one of the pictures I saw on here, like a sunset picture, you can see the wheels.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back to nice wheels. Even if I had the money to just blow for no reason, I wouldn't do it.
It looks fucking fantastic.
Thanks.
It's got, obviously it doesn't have $5,000 worth of wheels on it. It's got a couple $100 worth of wheels on it, but it looks like a good ass fucking car.
Right.
And I mean, it would take away from the car itself if it had some blingy Blitzo 3s or whatever, and then you'd be scared to drive it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's nothing on this car. Obviously I don't want to jack anything up, but if it does happen, it's not going to emotionally destroy me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess this one may be a little bit more relevant. If you had a dream engine swap to put in it, if you wanted a different drivetrain to put in there and money wasn't a factor, what would you put under the hood?
If money wasn't a factor, I'd probably put a 2J in it. That would be a dream, but realistically, I mean, I'd be just as satisfied just turboing this M52 that's in it.
I bet.
They handle boost. You can make a reliable...
The European 2J.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, that's what everyone seems to call them, but you can push a good 450 to 6 reliably with a good tune.
Without even having to open it up, really. Yeah. You just kind of have to keep it right, or keep it well maintained and treat it right. Don't let it get too hot. Change the oil.
Right.
That's, I mean, the biggest thing with people that talk about unreliability on BMWs, they drive 10 events without ever changing their oil. I was like, obviously, if you're not changing your oil after every single event, your car's not going to like that very much.
No, not at all, and I should definitely do it more myself, but get some oil changes.
Do you have a preference on oil that you've been feeding this thing to keep
Rotella
it?
T6. That's what a lot of people run. It's the diesel motor oil, but it does good. I mean, no complaints.
Yeah, that's 1540, the thick stuff?
5-weight 40 is what I run in this, and if you got a lifter tick, that stuff.
Not anymore.
No, not at all. No, maybe,
don't give it the room to tick.
Yeah, maybe a little extra oil in there just for, sound.
Ease of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
If you had a favorite chassis that wasn't the E30 or a different car that you wanted to build for obviously this is the car that you chose to be your baby, but if you never got an E30, what do you think your other chassis would be?
I almost got a Datsun 510 before this. I'm a big fan of older, more square style cars.
And you're talking about how expensive this was to build.
I know,
Imagine if you had a 510.
Are such a pain in the ass to find.
Oh my god.
So that almost happened, but it didn't. Thankfully, I'm very happy with the decision I made. But if I was just to choose something else, I'm a big fan of FCs.
Oh, the RX-7.
I think that'd be pretty rad.
Convertible, hardtop.
Hardtop. I'm not a fan of convertible personally.
No.
Probably an FC. I mean, I'd still like to have a 510, but like I said, that's going to be a bigger hassle than I want to deal with.
Exactly.
Just to make it happen.
Definitely just rob every cent you have.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's definitely.
What is obviously you said you've spent a lot of time at Evergreen and Monroe. Yeah. That's basically your home track where you've put down the most seat time, the most laps. Right. Would you say that's your favorite track?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Spirit Peaks is nice. Mm-hmm. It's fun. The atmosphere is nice. It's a bit more lenient, I should say. But
it's like a family-run establishment.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's always having a good time, which they are at Evergreen too, but the pavement is rough. Been there, everyone knows. Evergreen, I can blow through 4 to 6 tires, and if I go to Spirit Peaks, it's a good dozen tires every single time, if I want to drive all day.
And there's a couple different transitions at Spirit Peaks, a couple different kinds of not transitions, but like quality, whatever material is on the
their pavement that's there.
Their pavement.
I'm not sure if there's like asphalt
slick spots somewhere, there's kind of grippier spots somewhere. It's not as consistent as like a circuit at Evergreen, right? Everything's kind of one pavement, and you can kind of get more consistency out of the track.
Right.
Like on the bank, there's no massive transitions or anything. You can expect what your grip rate or grip level is going to be throughout the entire
Yeah,
lap.
the whole track's very consistent.
Yeah.
Definitely, unless it's wet.
Unless it's wet. Then Evergreen's fucking useless.
Sucks.
Getting off the bank at Evergreen, going across the infield at
Yeah.
Evergreen, it's impossible.
But the thing is like, besides just the pavement itself that's there, they run so many different events. They run, you know what I mean? They got derbies and bus races, and I mean, NASCAR, I could go on for a while, but so many different fluids, things that are out there.
True.
So especially like when it's been hot like it is now, and then we get rain like we just did at DriftCon, it's a fucking disaster,
Shit show.
man. It's really bad.
I saw some of the clips from DriftCon. I not a lot of people holding it straight.
No, you never do. If it's raining, everybody's spinning out there. But it's still a good time, but I personally don't waste my money when it rains.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it. It's not fun to me. It's slow motion drifting.
It's definitely a good way to, I mean, if you're just getting into drifting and have a lower horsepower car that, like if you have a Miata or a stock 240 or a 36 or something, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, no, definitely. But still, it doesn't give you like a good, I mean, it's still not going to give you like the best feel if you're new to it. I still tell anyone, go out in the dry, learn in the dry. Believe it or not, I mean, you need grip. You need
and it's the only way to
traction.
really predict what the car is going to do and actually be consistent in your laps. Because every single lap that you do in the rain is going to be different. And, I mean, when you're on an open course like Spirit Peaks as well and it's raining, you also have 25 people on track that you have to worry about their experience with driving in the rain and then not losing control and ending up in your passenger seat.
Yeah, you definitely got to pick and choose who you want to drive with. That's been my mistake before my car was as clean as it is.
Yeah.
Just
so I guess we kind
everybody.
of rolled over the crashes. What are really the stories behind the crashes? They were both at Evergreen?
The only one that's even worth talking about was DriftCon 2 years ago. We were doing Team Tandem, and it had just started sprinkling the first lap of the actual competition. My buddy chucked it in the corner, spun out, and his front bumper went right into my B-pillar on the passenger side.
Ooh.
And the car wasn't caged, and it completely caved in the side of the car. I mean,
Really?
It tacoed the fucking thing. It still drove, and measuring from center of front to back wheel was still the same, so I still kept driving.
Wow.
But it was fucked, man. It was bad. So I ended up finding my buddy locally who had a frame rack. He threw it on there for me, straightened it all out, and got it looking pretty good.
Good.
And
Can you really even notice it now?
No, not at all now, actually. I mean, maybe a little bit on the rocker if you open the door.
Yeah, but no one's looking.
No, man. I don't even see it myself when I open it. So, no,
Good.
it's fine. Any damage to the quarter panel is now hidden by the overs, so you would never know.
How many owners does this thing have? Do you know? Did you get it?
Just these. I've been stocked.
Not overs, owners.
Oh, owners. I'm sorry. Oh, I think I'm the third owner.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to say I'm the third owner.
Good. Yeah, you've had it for over 10 years. I mean, do you think you're going to be the last owner of this thing? Is this thing going anywhere?
Yeah,
besides the junkyard eventually?
I considered selling it, but I could never get rid of it. The only way this car goes is if I completely total it.
Yeah.
And even still, I could confidently say I'd go get another E30, swap all my parts over.
For sure.
And just keep
I mean,
doing
they're getting pricey too. Even shells, the E30s, I've been seeing going for $1,500 for a rotted out E30 shell.
Well, especially this model as well. There's especially the slick top.
Yeah, the slick top. That's pretty rare, right?
Pricey, man. Yeah, people sell these stock for like upwards of 10, 15. I got this for $2,000 in Atlanta.
Shit.
I want to say I'm the third owner now, and it was just sitting in the corner at some guy's shop. We drove like 4 hours from South Carolina to go look at it.
And it was bone stock, 5-speed, 4-cylinder.
Yep, the boat suspension that comes on them stock. And I just drove it up until the point, like I said, where we moved cross country. I beat the shit out of it all the time. I would go to little parking lots on open diff just to get a feel for what it was like. I never drifted prior to that, but
does it have the original odometer in it still? Do you know how many miles
it does? Oh man, the odometer stopped at 155 before I bought it.
Oh shit!
This chassis itself for sure has at least 300,000 miles on it.
Awesome.
The motor itself doesn't even have 110 on it. So
awesome.
That's nice, but I've never fixed the odometer, so
it's got 150,000 miles.
155,000 miles, yeah.
The motor's about to catch up with the odometer. Then you should fix it. Just say, it matches.
Right, yeah, you could, definitely.
150,000 mile E30. What else do I have here? Have you ever been scammed out of any money buying parts or anything in the car scene?
No, I haven't, man. Everything I've bought's mainly been from companies. I haven't really purchased anything used. If I have, like transmissions or thing like that, I'd get from like Gresham or somewhere I can at least get a warranty on it.
Somewhere that you have a receipt and can prove.
Yeah.
And someone to call if something goes wrong.
Right, pretty much, but
Not just
no.
post on Facebook, this guy sold me a fucked up transmission.
Right.
I've seen a lot of those recently. I mean, if you buy a 15-year-old transmission for $150, you can't really go on Facebook afterwards and
Right.
trash the guy that you bought it from.
Right.
He didn't know either.
Yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. You buy it, it's yours.
Yeah.
So, but no, I haven't been scammed. I've never been screwed over.
That's
I
good.
try to make sure, I try not to put myself in a situation where I can.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't avoid it, but no, I haven't personally.
That's good.
Yeah.
Were you into cars growing up in high school? How did you really get into cars? Was your dad into it, or
No, my brother mainly. My brother was a big car person growing up when I was young, when he was going through high school and whatnot. So I was always outside with him and his buddies.
what were they building?
Hondas, man, everyone doing the Honda scene through high school.
Okay, and this was right after probably Fast and Furious.
It was around that time.
This is
yeah,
prime
body
time
kits
Fast
had
and
taken
Furious.
off. This was late 90s. I mean, I was young, but I was around it a lot.
Yeah.
They were doing the whole street racing thing. Even elementary school, I'd still just tag along with them. I was always with my brother and his friends.
Awesome.
And that's what got me into it. And I did the go-karts and dirt bikes. I always had something to tinker with and get a rush out of growing up.
Have you ever been competitive in the
Nope.
motorsports?
Nope. The only thing competitive motorsports is drifting that I'm doing now.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Are you doing competitive events?
Yeah,
you
just
drift?
grassroots and drift con and
Yeah.
fun public events. They don't mean anything, but they're still. I enjoy putting a little more seriousness into it. It just makes it fun, makes you a better driver.
For sure. And it's a little bit of a competition for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got some trophies, right? You got some stuff to put
Yeah,
on
a couple. I mean, I got all 3 within a week period.
Hell
But
yeah.
yeah, I did get a couple there.
It was a good week.
It was a good week. Yeah, it was fun, man.
Good.
Definitely.
And that was probably like the first outing with the car being this color.
No, I've had it this way for, I'd say actually a year now.
Oh, really? It has been that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, like I said, it's just been grassroots and stuff.
Yeah.
Which has always worked out well. I only have one grassroots trophy, but every time I've driven a grassroots event, I always end up top 4
Sweet.
with pro-am cars or cars that make 500-600 horsepower.
Cars with big, non-naturally
Right.
aspirated.
So it still makes me feel good for being what it is.
For sure.
So it's cool, man.
Do you have any plans of going further in the competitive space? Maybe
I
get a
want
Pro
to,
2
yeah.
license?
Once I move, I mean, that would.
Or not Pro 2. What is it called now? Pro Spec in FD?
Yeah, Pro Spec is now the Pro 2's
Yeah.
new name. I mean, that would be nice if I can get someone else to pay for it.
Yeah, for sure. That's usually the biggest thing is
I can't afford to travel and have a pro level car and do
Yeah.
all this shit.
it's
you
a
know what I mean?
$250,000 for a year of
Yeah,
Pro-Am. I mean,
right.
And then you don't make any money doing it.
No.
No,
This is just a
you
stupidest
pay to do
hobby,
it.
but it's so much fun.
It's pretty shitty. I'm
It is. It really
learning
is.
to realize
It's
that.
stupid if you look at it. I mean, there's no. It's yeah,
And
it's
even the
waste
people
money.
that are making money doing it, they're not wealthy.
No, not at all. Not by any means. No.
Like the richest people in motorsports still drive a 2010 Yukon.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have Bugattis and Ferraris
No,
and Lamborghinis. I mean, there's TJ Hunt, but he gets 4 hours of seat time every year. I mean, he's
I
not a
think
driver.
The big trick is having your own company, running your own company, whether that be a automotive shop. That's the perfect way to do it. That's what a lot of these guys do. You start your own company, you have your own shop, you sponsor yourself, and boom, you're good.
Like
You just
LZ's
company
doing
money.
with, I mean, LZ MFG is the title sponsor for
Right.
Adam LZ's
Right.
Formula Drift team now. And I eventually would like to do the same thing with the Mustang. I'd like Dlzonwlz to be the presenting sponsor
Right.
of the team. I noticed that you got Crypto Motorworks on the side skirt
Yeah.
there. Is that a new partner of yours?
It is, yeah. It's a local BMW guy. He does a lot of like engine builds. I mean, really anything you bring to him.
Hell yeah.
But I've been chatting with him for a long time, and he came to me just with the offer to help me out a little bit for events and things like that. So I said, of course, why not? Why would I turn that down?
You're maintaining that relationship when you're over in
I
Florida
haven't
as
really
well?
chatted with him much. I mean, I'm sure he'll still help me a little bit. Like I said, he's just
Where's he
local.
located? Where's Crypto Motorworks?
He's in Puyallup.
Puyallup?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
if BMW guys in Puyallup area, definitely check out Crypto Motorworks on Instagram and
Yeah,
Facebook.
for sure. He's a good dude. Very nice guy. He'll help you. I mean, anything
Sweet.
BMW related, man.
Oil
He's very
changes to
knowledgeable.
motor swaps. To,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I
stuff
think
like that.
That's how he advertises himself.
All right. Do you have any opinions on the takeover scene that has really started to?
I mean, anyone you talk to that goes to the track is going to tell you takeovers are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't like them. Anyone who's also at the track has street drifted. Now, there's a difference between street drifting and takeovers. All of us have
Absolutely.
gone out by ourselves or with a friend, hit some corners or some parking lots or some on-ramps.
Huge
The takeovers are just fucking dumb. You stop traffic, cause problems, people get hurt, you fucking hit cars and flip cars. And
so how many events have you ever... Let's just put a number on the events of drift events you've been to. 100? Would you say easily over 100?
50. I'd say 50 is more
50
realistic.
events? Has anyone ever got hurt at an event that you've ever been to?
No. Even people who have flipped their cars at a couple events recently, they still
didn't get hurt. Out, thumbs up, flip the car over, and go back out on track.
So, but no, I've never heard of anybody getting hurt on track or...
Every single takeover that has ever happened, 1 or 2 people get hurt. And they're happening every night in every city across America.
Right.
So how are they...
these people get fucked up. They get creamed by these cars.
They get run over.
You get fucking launched across the intersection. Which, now, it's fun to watch.
It's absolutely fun to watch. So you're going to get some views out of me by going to takeovers. Yeah. I will happily watch you get run over by a V6 Camaro in the middle of the street.
And that's all it's about. It's just, you know what I mean?
It looks like rental cars doing donuts with aim for no reason. So anyways, just take it to the track and do something impressive.
Yeah, and you won't ever get good doing that shit. It's not.
There's no skill.
It's not drifting. I have a lot of friends and coworkers who want to get into drifting. I talk to all the time, and I tell them, go to the track. Sure, you can go to a parking lot. Mm-hmm. You can learn donuts and get a little feel, but there's always something holding you back, mentally or physically. You got curbs, you got rocks, dirt, all this shit. You can never push yourself and the car to its full limits and really learn what it can do. So you can do all this stuff on the street all you want, but you go to the track, it's a whole other world. You're starting from ground zero again.
Yeah, and even if you get to a secluded area like a warehouse or something, and you practice by yourself in a secluded area where you think no one's gonna get hurt, it's still private property. And
exactly.
You have to. If you were the person that owned that warehouse, you literally just have to think that you would want the respect back to you, and you don't want a bunch of hoodlums in your fucking... Anyways, there are easier ways, not easier, but there are more effective ways to getting your adrenaline out by driving on the track where no one gets hurt and you're not going to go to jail.
Yeah, you'll better yourself. Everyone's going to be like, oh, you're... like you say, you're not going to get hurt and things like that, but people are out there doing it. They don't give a shit about that.
That's truly the only thing that matters. No one gets hurt at the track. If you want
to get good, just go to the track. You're not going to get good on the street. I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to get good on the street.
And you will feel a whole lot more comfortable at the track because you're not looking over your shoulder waiting for 5-0 to pop up around the corner every single time.
You hit one little intersection and you're shaking
or
the rush.
Owner of the property coming out with a 12 gauge who has every right to shoot you in the throat.
Right. Exactly.
Do you have any channels to promote? Anything to really blast out there? Do you? Your Instagram to let the people know.
Yeah, my Instagram's it. I promote myself. I do my own thing.
Sweet. And you've said that you've touched every bolt. You did all of the not all of the fabrication, but basically all of the modifications to this car yourself.
Yeah, there isn't anyone who's laid a hand. Like I said, I've had my buddy help me with physically welding up some stuff. I did the whole cage myself, which turned out really good. But no, this whole car has been a learning experience for me, and it's where I've always tell people, when you want to do something, just do it. You want to learn how to do something, just do it, and that's what this car's been for me. And I've changed some stuff that I haven't been happy with, but in the whole, man, I'm very satisfied with the car and what I've put into it.
Good. Do you have a favorite build right now, or a build you've been following that you're excited to see hit the streets?
Not necessarily, no. I watch all the guys on YouTube and all the popular drifters and whatnot. There isn't really anything that's just like really I'm super into. I'm a big Taylor Ray fan. Yeah. I watch all his stuff. I like the content.
He's got a lot of unique stuff. He definitely takes the stuff that we want to see and puts a little twist on it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, he definitely.
And just like I've done with this, I'll tell a lot of people, I'll watch YouTube videos and I'll look at 10 different ways of doing something and then come up with my own way to do it. It's always worked out. It's always worked out good. And sometimes I feel like it's worked out better than what I saw. You get a unique
end result. There are a lot of cookie cutter builds on YouTube. The S13s on BC Racing coilovers and a BN kit and the wrap job, and here's my 240.
Right.
Where, obviously that looks good and it performs good, but it's a cookie cutter build.
Right.
Anyone could do it. I've never seen an E30 built to this level. Or really like this. I've seen a lot of enthusiasts built E30s because that's what a lot of BMW owners are. They're purists.
Right.
They try to get it back to OEM spec and as clean as possible.
It's like 80% of people Don't give a shit about what I'm doing with my car in the E30 scene.
So
It attracts a lot of older people as well. There's a lot of like people, in their 50s and 60s that are just big time E30 guys.
Yeah.
Which I can respect. It's pretty cool.
For sure.
I get it.
So I know you're going to E30 picnic tomorrow.
I am, yeah.
Have you been to a lot of E30 or BMW events? What's the feedback you've gotten from the BMW community when you pull up in this thing? Do you get a lot of looks?
I get a lot. No, I mean, everything positive. I've never get anything. I mean, at least to my face, no one says anything negative.
Yeah, that's usually how it is.
Right, but no, I mean, even online as well, I should say. No one hates on the car. Like you said, it's kind of one of a kind, which has been my intention, building the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's not like you threw a heinous motor in it either. It's
No.
It's got a BMW motor in it.
Yeah.
It's not just thrown together. It's obviously been cared for, and
it has. I try to do everything right, and I mean, it's worked out well. Like I said, I don't mess with the car. I don't tinker with nothing unless I break something, but even still, it's very rare. I just drive the car. It's just seat time. That's it.
that's all it's about. I mean, seat time. That's
Right.
literally all that matters.
Right.
And then after you've gotten all that seat time, maybe make the car look good.
Yeah.
As I don't know if you want to talk about this, but as a father in the drift community, do you have any plans of putting your children into motorsports or putting them through karting
I would say
or
100%.
racing?
Yeah. I have one child, my daughter.
Yeah.
And she's very young, but still, she comes to the track with us every time we go.
Okay. Does she
loves
show
it.
interest? She's excited about
she loves
going?
it.
That's
She
awesome.
loves it, man. She's all about it. And even when my girlfriend was pregnant, we'd still go to the tracks because, I mean, that they say that's where a lot of kids get interest for some things, whether it be music or sounds.
The vibrations.
Yeah,
They get
so we tried to
similar.
do that. I don't know if that had any influence on it. It might just be this is what my daddy's interested in, so I'm naturally interested in it.
Yep.
But she loves it, man. She sits there when the cars go by. She goes vroom vroom. She smiles ear to ear, and she'll just sit there and watch. It's beautiful.
Awesome. I honestly can't wait to, because I wasn't put through motorsports as a kid, and I fucking wish I was.
Yeah,
because
same.
I always saw the side of, I mean, there were kids that would go karting on the weekends, and I never even put together that they were racing. I always thought that they were just going to the go-kart complex and just having a good time, but they were competitive karters.
Right.
It's funny that my
Dude, that
name's
shit can get serious too.
Yeah,
It's
I
cool.
mean it can almost cost as much to run a go-kart program as it does to run a Formula Drift team. And I mean it's crazy because I've been to autocross events where kart kids will go out on the autocross in their go-karts and set times as well. And I'll see them ripping around there going fucking 80 miles an hour around this track, and then they take their helmet off and it's a 9-year-old girl.
Right.
And I go,
hell yeah, dude.
What?
That's so
And
cool.
not that, obviously nothing against 9-year-old girls racing. That's fucking awesome.
That's
and if
super cool, man.
If I was at that point when I was a kid, and I've raced and I've done basically every kind of racing at this point, but later in my life. But if those skills are pounded into you as a younger kid, or as, I mean, I've seen people as young as 5 or 6 years old behind the wheel of a go-kart. That's something that you learn to do. It's going to be something that you do for the rest of your life.
You have to introduce them to it young.
You have to.
I mean, she's doing go-karts because that's all she can do right now.
Yeah, so she is doing go-karts?
No, I'm talking about like what you were talking about, like with the little girls.
Yeah,
that's just what they can.
Oh
do.
yeah, and then
You know
eventually
what I mean?
she's gonna turn into
It's gonna just keep
fucking Formula dragster or something.
Right, if the parents got the money for sure.
Yeah, that's the other thing, because I realized that I'm gonna be the one paying for that program, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But I mean, if they get good enough, they become a Formula One driver, and then they start paying my bills.
That's the dream, right?
Out of the 16 Formula drivers that there are in the world, that's the worst thing about motorsports too, is that even at the top tier of drivers, there's 10 of them.
Right.
There's 15 of them.
I think in all kinds of motorsports, it's not like there's many.
No, you have to be literally the top of the top of the top to even be recognized.
Right.
And even if you are the top of the top of the top, there's only 3 guys that people really even care about.
Right.
There's 4 Formula Drift drivers that people will recognize on whatever, the names, but 90% of the roster at Formula Drift are people you've never really even heard of.
Yeah.
And
that's for sure.
I mean, they've spent millions and millions of dollars to get to that point, and they're not going to get to the point where they're getting that money back probably ever.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
A lot of those guys, I mean, you would like to think or you assume that most of these companies, with the names and how well known they are, would supply them with most of the shit. They fly them around and do all the jazz, you know what I mean?
But then, I mean, it's turning into NASCAR at that point where you're really a driving billboard, and
Right.
I've always thought drifting should really stray away from. I mean, obviously, Formula Drift, you need sponsors to fund everything,
Right.
but the best part about drifting and the most fun thing about drifting is literally seat time, and you don't need the big money to have the seat time. Like the tracks in Japan, you'll see 1% of the cars that actually have branding or like title sponsors on their cars. All the Ebisu cars, they're privately owned. It's their daily driver that they fucking drove there. And I mean, they're having 10 times more fun in their daily driver, simple seat time car that they didn't spend a whole lot of money on than these professional drivers.
Yeah.
So, like the
it's
last
been around a long time there too, though. So I wonder if that has some kind of influence on it because they have a lot of older drivers.
Yeah, I'm super excited because I think we're in probably the worst era of drifting right now.
Right, and this limbo, everyone's trying to be so big.
Everyone's trying to be Adam LZ. Everyone's trying to just pretty much mimic
who they look up to, who
they look up to. And I mean, the thing about Japan is it's been around for so long that everyone's just kind of split up and is really doing their own thing. Right. And they realize that the only thing that's truly important is seat time.
Just driving, enjoying yourself.
Just driving.
Yeah. And no reason to try and be fucking pro.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we're kind of keeping up that theme, because the first guy that I brought in here and interviewed, he had a super simple 350Z. Yeah. And I mean, he built it to just drive. And it's Mitch. He works at Spirit Peaks. I know what
you're talking about.
Yeah. And he built it to just drive, and you've built this to just drive.
Right.
And I think that's super important to portray to you guys and people who want to get into drifting. And I mean, obviously, if you have never drifted, the first thing that you need to do with a drift car is learn how to drive it. I mean, you don't need to go buy big angle kits. You don't need to go buy coilovers. You don't need to do all these supporting suspension mods until you've learned how to drive the car.
Right.
I mean,
most people won't do that though.
It's called driver's
Which
mod.
I get, because as soon as you go, man, you're hooked. So now you want to be as good as you can. True. You want to get as you want to do all the cool dope shit that you see online.
Yeah, and
which you still can do without all that stuff. It just definitely helps. It makes it easier. I get why people do it, but yeah, you need to learn how to drive a fucking car.
You just probably take notes from the best drifter out there, Chelsea Denofa. He's got these 1,000 horsepower Formula Drift cars, and then he parks them and goes and gets in his stock E36 318 Ti and puts down more and better laps than anyone else out on track.
He pushes that shit on everyone. That's fucking cool.
I don't know how he does that.
And
then he'll get back into his Formula Drift Mustang and put everyone in the dust.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking right.
But he learned and acquired his skills by just honing them in low horsepower cars. Right. He preaches and actually has a bunch of series on YouTube of just seat time and low power cars will equate to skill and success in higher horsepower cars.
Well, yeah, if you got the power, you can make corrections with the power. The car damn near drives itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like I mean, obviously you're doing the fucking work, but still.
And when you have a team of
fix corrections and shit by just matting it.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if you've been watching the Aaron Losey series. He just uploaded a bunch of series from Japan as well.
I started watching some of them.
I mean, the big thing is just simplicity. And if there's anything that I can preach in this podcast and let be known is don't overbuild your cars. Spend the money that you would or you want to on the car on actual seat time, on a trailer, on a reliable way to get to the track, on actually just enjoying yourself at the track instead of trying to build a FD car for your first event.
Right.
And then
you go out and suck dick.
And then you suck dick, everyone laughs at you, and then it breaks, and then you can't afford to fix it. And
Kind of. I would say everyone's going to laugh at you because you don't want a lot of people, because that scares. That's why these fucking takeover kids don't go to the track.
Yeah.
Because while they look dope on fucking Instagram and Facebook and shit, they now don't want to go to the track.
Because they don't want to get clowned on.
Yeah, which I tell everyone, like, we all fucking spin.
Yeah.
You'll go to the track, be there for 5 minutes, and be like, okay, it really doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
But yes, if you're going to fully build a pro-level car and then go out and suck, you will get made fun of. But as far as just, like, going out and spinning out, in a normal car, you're not going to get fucking ragged on.
The last 6 events and they see you putting in the time and effort, no one's going to say shit to you.
No one fucking cares if you're out there spinning out.
Really, the only person that people care about at the track is themselves.
Yeah.
And you'll really learn that. I mean, I've gone to events where a lot of my good buddies are driving at the same event, and we'll be there for a whole weekend, and we'll never even really talk to each other.
Right.
Because we're just in our own little universe, and
Yeah.
his pit is right over here, and my pit's right over here, but the only thing we're focused on is literally holding the steering wheel and sitting in that
Right.
driver's seat in the cockpit.
And if you don't know anybody out there, you go out there and drive with someone. I mean, once you get some, like you said, some seat time and get more comfortable
Yeah.
and start tandeming with people, everyone I talk to locally where I live here, just from drifting, just from at the track. Because I moved out to Puyallup, 2 years ago, and now every single person I talk to is just people I've driven with.
Just drive
become
drifters.
good friends with. Yeah, because as soon as you tandem with someone, it's a rush. You're all doing your own shit, and as soon as you're hopped out, you're like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude!" You
It's
guys
like serving in the
instantly
military
come
with someone. You get that brotherly bond.
Right,
you get that
right.
trust. They got your back.
Right.
I mean, if you have as much trust with someone to literally put a 5,000-pound missile on the side of
Yeah.
the fucking
successfully.
Successfully.
If you can do it successfully,
Over
you
and
guys
over
will
and
become
over
buddies.
and over.
Even a lot of just like pro-am guys, which to anyone, in grassroots level, there's still a lot of pro-am guys that were just, oh, dude, he's fucking sick, good driver. I mean, you look up to him slightly to a point, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you drive with them once, you immediately become good buddies. I mean,
Yep.
we're all just fucking people.
We are all
As
just
soon as you have like an intense adrenaline rush moment together, it's like, fuck yeah.
It's a
dude,
bond
that's
for
cool.
life.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, we're about to reach the hour mark. I think with the beauty shots that we have from the beginning, I think it's probably going to reach out to about an hour. So this is
Cool.
probably perfect.
Sweet.
I hope you guys enjoyed the new setup. This has been the first podcast with the dual microphone, so hopefully that worked out a little bit better than the last few episodes. Hopefully both camera angles are working just fine for you guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Brian, for coming
Thanks
in.
for having me, man. I appreciate it.
And maybe we'll see him in Florida eventually down the road, because Deals on Wheels will eventually be going on the road and interviewing all of our favorite people from across the country. So definitely make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check all the links down in the description. Go on Dlzonwlz.com to check out some of our merchandise. And yeah, we'll see you then. Later.
I close my eyes and I see dreams of gold.